This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by David Diamante out here in the beautiful and sunny Texas. David, how have you been doing? How are you keeping?
Andy, great to see you, my friend. And yeah, it's a beautiful day out here in Arlington, Texas, the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. Keeping great, man. I mean, we've been very busy running around the world doing shows every week, and it's just been great. And obviously we have this massive show here this weekend, and so I'm really excited.
David, let's just start off with kind of going back to this past weekend. Chisora-Parker, a brilliant fight, a brilliant card. Just assessing it now, looking back on it, what did you make of it?
In what way?
Just start off with Chisora-Parker, your thoughts on that headline fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough heavyweight clash. I think that, yeah, I mean, these guys went at it. You know, they fought hard. I thought that maybe Chisora took the first part of the fight. Parker maybe took the second part of the fight. Chisora seemed to come on late in the last round. Yeah, I mean, it was a competitive fight.
Chris Eubank Jr. overcoming Marcus Morrison, but how tough was Marcus Morrison, David?
Yeah, he was tough. It seemed a bit that Chris was, I don't want to say playing with his food, but that Chris could have probably handled business quick if he wanted to. I think Roy might have been telling him to fall back a bit. I think he wanted to get rounds in. But yeah, Marcus is as tough as they come, and he fought very hard. But I think Chris maybe could have dispatched him if he really wanted to.
Did you see the improvements Chris has made under the guidance of Roy Jones Jr.?
Yeah, some. I mean, I think it's great that he's with Roy. I think it can't do anything but help him out. I think it's a good match. I mean, you know, Roy Jones Jr. was such a physically talented boxer, and I think Chris Eubank Jr. is an incredibly talented athlete. So I think it's an exciting match for both of them, because I think Roy can see things in his head that he can tell people, but they can't do it, they can't execute it. And I think Chris Eubank has the physicality and the athleticism to do those types of things. So I think it's actually a pretty good match, and of course Chris really respects Roy, and that's really important also. So it's a good match, and we'll see what it takes in the future. I'm not saying Chris Eubank is Roy Jones Jr. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I think it's a good match, and we'll see what fruits it bears for Chris Eubank Jr. in the future.
Katie Taylor versus Tasha Jonas again, another brilliant female fight, lived up to those expectations of what we saw in the past of their amateur bouts. What did you make of their bout as well, David?
What a fight. I mean, it was super close, and you know what was really amazing to me was watching Ross Enamite at the last round. He was just like screaming, like, go for broke, like, go. And Katie did it. And she was exhausted, but she just like, I mean, she was, you know, I'm sitting right there watching, and she's just going for it, and there's like spit coming out of her mouth, and she's just, I mean, she was spent, but she went like a champion, and I think she took that last round, and those cards were very, very close. I think two of them read 96-95. So, I mean, that's how close that fight was. And she pulled it out like a champion at the end, and she retained her titles.
Now let's just move forward and onto this card, because it is such a big card. Billy Joe Saunders out here trying to overcome the Mexican superstar that is Canelo Alvarez. A brilliant fight, David. What do you make of it?
Well, Canelo Alvarez is, I think, boxing's brightest star. And I think anytime Canelo fights, it's a major event. The fact that he's fighting an undisputed world champion in a unification bout makes it even bigger. A lot of people rate Billy's boxing ability, you know, against different opponents, but he has never faced an opponent like Canelo. It's an interesting fight, and we'll see how Canelo deals with it.
David, 70,000 fans on Saturday night. How are you going to feel yourself being back in front of a crowd as an MC in front of such a large audience?
I can't wait, Andy. I'm really excited, man. It's going to be great. I mean, the fans they're clamoring for this, and you know, they're saying this is going to be the largest indoor boxing event that's ever taken place in American history. I guess the one before was Spinks and Ali in New Orleans or Louisiana. So this is a big fight. It's a big fight. It's the largest sporting event post-COVID in America. It's big. It shows boxing's alive.
How key is an event like this now during kind of these tough times for the sport to really, I don't want to say get it back up on his feet because he's had a really good run recently, but to put it back at the forefront of people's minds.
Yeah, these events are huge. I mean, you need champions fighting champions. And we've seen it before. It builds up the sport. The interest is there. And we've seen a lot of other kind of fringe stuff on the sport lately, too, that's brought a lot of interest. You know, speaking of Roy Jones Jr., when he fought Mike Tyson recently, you know, so the old-timers coming back. And now Tyson saying he's going to fight Lennox Lewis. And there's all these, you know, old-timers want to come back. And then, of course, the Jake Pauls and the Logan Pauls and the Mayweathers and these kinds of situations happening. So, you know, it's when you get these big fights at the top of boxing, of course it's going to be really big, and that's what we're seeing.
This week has certainly been an interesting one, David. As it's progressed, I know you arrived today, I believe, or was it yesterday?
I came here yesterday, but I came out of the bubble today.
So obviously on your arrival yesterday, just having seen how the events have unfolded and certainly around the ring size, what have you made of Billy Joe Saunders, his teams, the altercations with Canelo's team?
Well, I just think he's taken a page out of Tyson Fury's book with Klitschko. You know, it's just trying to play some mind games. But aside from that, I mean, there is a legitimate thing, especially with Saunders' style. You know, let's say he's going to be on the back foot. Obviously, he's going to want the largest ring possible. You know, Canelo, known as the bigger puncher, will want a smaller ring. So, you know, but 2 feet is not going to make the difference either way, per se. It could, but it probably won't. You know, I expect. Well, I just think that, you know, it's a little bit of gamesmanship. You know, that's what he's doing.
How key do you think it is for Billy Joe to have somebody like Tyson Fury here, David? Because in Canelo's case, he has an aura about him. When you're around him, you feel it's different almost. Tyson Fury, one of the world heavyweight champions, the glamour division, he can take a bit of that shine away from Canelo this week. Do you think that's a key component for Billy Joe?
I think it's gigantic, because I think that Tyson Fury and Billy Joe Saunders are very close. They share very deep bonds, and Tyson has seen the top of the mountain, and so he knows what it takes on this very, very top level, and to slay the dragon like he did with Klitschko. Of course, Klitschko is not Canelo. Klitschko was older, so it's different. But at the same time, you can't forget of how dominant Klitschko was. So I think it's a big deal, and we saw Tyson today at the press conference, you know, yelling stuff out and supporting Billy Joe. So it's massive.
David, just final one from yourself then. Ahead of Saturday night, what would you like to say to all the fans around the world who will be tuning in?
Listen, thank you for your support. I hope we have a great night of fights. I expect that we will. It's just it's a huge night of boxing, and hopefully it'll be a great night, and there'll be many more to come.
David, as always, it's a pleasure to catch up with you. I'm sure I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you for your time, and thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you so much, Andy. We'll talk soon.